Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDOWorkHereLady. And today we have two more great stories about crazy people, so sit comfortably and let's get started. Why I helped him and not you, Karen. This happened 2 weeks ago. I live in England in a decent-sized town. Cast: me, OP, Karen, typical entitled lady, store manager, my help in this story. Location: Sainsbury Local, a smaller version of Sainsbury's supermarket in England. The story: so my dad had asked me to send off some important mail and had asked me to go and do some shopping for some supplies for home. I say okay, grab the car keys, and head off to the post office, after which I leave my car parked in the post office parking lot whilst I walk over to the Sainsbury's Local, as it's only a 2 to 3 minute walk from the post office, reusable shopping bag in hand. I was wearing a blue hoodie with a pair of dark blue jeans, a face mask, and my everyday pair of gray shoes. Once I reached the Sainsbury's, I was told to wait a little bit by the security guard to allow for some people to leave from the small shop in order to maintain social distancing rules. After a short wait, I was let in. I go to the fruit and vegetables where I begin to pick up the items I'd been asked to pick up. Following this, I move over to the milk section where I accidentally knock over a stack of chocolate eclairs and profiteroles. I begin picking it up as it was my fault, and I'm not a monster to let the staff of the store pick the items up when it's clearly my fault. They have better things to do with their time than pick up things knocked over by members of the public. I just want to take this moment to say thank you to all the frontline workers and all the effort they're putting out to help the rest of us. I finish putting the items back where they belong and proceed to the frozen goods section when I hear an "excuse me." I turn around to an elderly gentleman and his wife who politely asked me where the cereal was. I told him where it was, as I'm pretty familiar with this store as I've lived in this town for most of my life and have frequented the store since it was built, roughly 10 years ago. It was built in July 2010. I said, please follow me as I'm going to the same aisle to pick up cereal myself. They thanked me and I moved on to get some of the other items on my list, such as bread. So in the bakery section, I was pondering which bread my dad wanted when I hear the dreaded throat clear. My original thought process was that I was in the way, so I proceeded to move away to the end of the aisle to allow the individual to get whatever they wanted. So I thought that was it. And I was about to move on to another aisle when I hear another throat clear. This time, I turn around to an old middle-aged lady. She looked Hispanic, but I'm not sure. She was glaring daggers at me. Here's the conversation that occurred. Me: can I help you, miss? Karen: I have been waiting for you for a while now. Who the hell do you think you are to ignore me? Do you know who I am? Sorry about that. I wasn't ignoring you. I simply didn't realize you were there. She cut me off. So you admit you were ignoring me? No, ma'am, I was not. I don't care anyways. Go grab me some oatmeal, you lazy good-for-nothing. That's when I realized she thinks I work there. Oh, no, ma'am, I don't work here. See, my uniform's completely different from theirs. Sainsbury's has a maroon-colored jacket with a maroon top and bottom with orange lines on their seams and their name on a company badge on top. Karen: BS. I saw you helping that elderly couple, and then you were stocking the shelves just before that. You definitely work here, so get off your phone and go get my oatmeal. I was just putting those items back as I'd accidentally knocked them over, and as for the couple, they asked me politely and didn't know what went where. Admittedly, I was starting to get a little angry now due to the way the lady was shouting constantly. After using some, let's say, colorful language, finishing off with this gem: you useless packy B-word. You should be happy you get to work in these times. Get me your manager now. I'm going to get you fired. At this stage, because she was shouting so loudly and it was rather a smallish store, both the security guard and the manager walked over. What seems to be the issue here, ma'am? I want this useless good-for-nothing fired. He was messing around on his phone while working and not helping me. She said this while smirking at me with a face as if saying, I got you now. The manager takes a quick look at me and says, firstly, miss, please calm down. Secondly, this individual clearly does not work for us. We have a uniform, but he's wearing a blue hoodie that's clearly not part of the attire. He's clearly a customer here. Can you kindly leave him alone and proceed with the rest of your shopping? So Karen decides to use some more colorful language combined with some more racist words to both the manager and me. At this stage, my anger was starting to dissipate, but you could clearly see in the manager's face that he was starting to get annoyed with this lady. Miss, can you refrain from using such language in the store, please? If you continue to spout such abusive language, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." "Why do I have to leave?" "He," pointing at me, "is the one who didn't want to help me, and now you're defending him?" Some more strong words were used towards me. The manager's now clearly upset. "Ma'am, please proceed to the checkout with all your items and leave. I can't have you abusing other customers. If you don't comply, I will have you forcibly removed by the security guard." And he points at the security guard behind him. "F you and this store. I'm effing leaving, okay? And I'm never coming back. Screw this store and screw all of you." She then throws the basket with all of the items on the floor and proceeds to leave, escorted out by the security guard. The manager then asks me if I'm okay. He knows me as I've frequented this store so much. "Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for sticking up for me." That lady has a few screws loose. Yes, she does. This is when we hear a very loud scream of "what the hell" from outside the store. Me, the manager, and some employees go over to the source and see Karen's car being ticketed as she'd parked in a handicapped parking zone. She was holding a yellow bag in her hand. This was a parking ticket. Apparently, at the time she was in the store, a police officer came over to grab some items, saw her parking, and ticketed her according to the elderly man who I'd helped earlier, and had apparently seen the whole ordeal go down. The person who ticketed her, the elderly gentleman's son, was waiting in his car outside. The elderly gentleman was chuckling and said, "Guess karma's a bee, huh, young lad?" His wife said, "Don't use such language, Jim. I hope you're all right, though, young lad. We asked my son for a favor as he was nearby, and as you helped us earlier. Then you got treated so horribly by that woman. Good riddance. Some people these days." I was a bit surprised and puzzled and said, "You did that? Well, thanks so much." The elderly couple then met with their son and proceeded to leave. The rest of the staff, me and some onlookers, went about our business. The manager then says, "What things were you looking for? Let me help you." I tell him, "You don't need to do that. I was almost done anyway." The manager then gave me a good portion of the stuff I was buying for free, which I was very grateful for, after which I proceeded back home. The end. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Karen thinks kicking the boss's kid out is a favor. Okay, my parents used to own a small cafe in a small shopping mall. I was 13 at the time. I'm 15 now, so not that long ago. The event was around a week before we closed down, but I still remember it. My parents used to come there once a week to check in and brought me along. Since we didn't have much staff, only 1 or 2 people, I used to help out by welcoming, greeting customers, and taking their orders. Well, one lucky day, along comes Karen, all ready to make my day as wonderful as possible. I did the usual drill, open the door, welcome to cafe name. If the cafe's full, I normally tell guests if they have to wait or show them to a table. Karen came in at a time when the cafe was almost empty, so she obviously could just sit anywhere. There was just one more customer, a nice middle-aged man in the corner. The cafe had a separate room with an opening to go into, which was for smokers. My parents were in there for privacy, but could see me most of the time. Okay, on to the story. The cast is CL, crazy lady, Karen. Me is me, NM is nice man, who is the only customer. E is employee, M is mom, D is dad. I go to Karen's table. 1 minute later, I take her order. She was seated on a table right next to the door. Me. Are you ready to order, ma'am? CL. Staring dead into me. What? Me. Ma'am, are you ready to order? CL. Kid, I ain't got time for your BS. You played around when I came in. Now F off to wherever the hell your parents are before I call someone to get you out. Now I'm wearing an employee tag with my name on it, and I'm pretty taken aback by her rude response. Me. Ma'am, I work here. Here, I gesture to my tag. That's obviously a fake. Wait till I tell the owner about you and have you banned. I'm best friends with him. Okay, so my mom's the owner, and CL said him, so you get the point. Ma'am, first of all, I do work here, and the owners are right here. If you know them, you can ask them about me. How dare you talk back to me like that? You know what? She grabbed my arm. I'll do this place a favor and get rid of you for them. She gets up and drags me out of the door. My parents have a view of the door and see me being dragged out. So do the employees, and they rush over to free me. My dad says, "Let go of him! Let go of my son!" and gets me out of her grip. "What do you think you're doing?" "How dare you touch me," she says. "I'll report all of you to the owner. I'm best friends with him." My mom says, "I am the owner." The crazy lady says, "Liar, prove it." Then gives my mom a hard push on the shoulder. Mall security had been observing from a distance, slowly coming closer. My mom says, well, we'll see about that, as she gestures for the guards to come over. The crazy lady, completely ignoring the fact that she saw my mom gesture for the guard, says, "Ha, let's see you get thrown out for harassing a woman." Then turns to the guards. "Please help. They harassed me and pushed me and shoved me, and that little brat abused and talked back to me." The guards saw everything and say, "Sure, let's go talk about it." She then turns white as a ghost. "Wait, what? You're going to throw me out?" "I know the mall's owner." "Yeah, same trick, Karen." The guard says, "Okay, let's go see him then. He'd love to know what you did." I went home with my mom, and we left our dad to deal with it since I was having a breakdown and couldn't stop crying. Dad came home and told us the woman bawled and literally fell in front of the manager, who she was taken to, and apologized to my dad a lot and how she was just under a lot of stress. My father couldn't take in that this woman had laid a hand on me and talked with the manager. In the end, they finally agreed on banning her from the mall and letting her be on her way. The authorities did show up, but by then the issue was resolved and she was sent on her way. It might be something to laugh about today, but boy, I wish I'd never see another Karen again. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.